Hello friends, let's learn a little bit more knowledge every day. At the time when Great Britain conquered the Indian subcontinent, the region was known as the richest and most powerful in the world. Not only that, they have a large population and an area nearly 20 times larger than the British Empire. So why is India still being conquered? Shall we find out together? In 1600, Queen Elizabeth signed a decree authorizing the establishment of the East India Company, consisting of politically engaged merchants, working as henchmen for the British Empire. When they first started operating, they focused on trading spices with the Portuguese and Dutch in Southeast Asia. However, after a while of fighting with chipped heads and chipped teeth, they realized that was not a good strategy. So the East India Company turned to reach out to the Indian subcontinent. At the time, the Mughal Empire was the world's largest economic power, a leader in manufacturing and accounting for about 24.4% of global GDP. Higher than that of the United States today. Thus, in front of a giant, the English at first appeared to be gentle lambs, and had no ill intentions. Just want to rent land for business and trade. By 1690, the East India Company had become the #1 exporter in the world, and was growing in size. They encouraged their citizens to come to India, by providing adequate material and opportunity to become rich. At the same time, they also built a strong army to protect settlements and commercial establishments. The Indians didn't care at all about the risk of imperial conquest, for they naively thought that the British merchants just wanted to be there to trade. Entering the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually declined, because internally it was deeply divided. It all began under the rule of King Aurangzeb, a talented but rigid and autocratic man. He established Islam as the dominant religion. Hindus are subject to very high taxes and are restricted from participating in politics. Therefore, many aristocrats and leaders of different religions, although obeying in front of them, secretly built opposing armies behind them. One of the most powerful, the Maratha dynasty, founded in 1674, they rebelled and demanded self-rule. In the decades that followed, the two most powerful dynasties in India fought endlessly, causing heavy losses on both sides. Taking advantage of that opportunity in 1739, the Persians invaded the Mughal capital Delhi, causing the dynasty innumerable losses in life and property. Thanks to that, Maratha constantly expanded its territory. From 1750, they became the dominant kingdom in India. While the two great tigers fought and were seriously injured, the British malice began to emerge. In territories not under the direct control of the Mughals and Marathas, the East India Company sent its troops to occupy. However, they do not use force, but do everything in peace, through treaties. The British allowed local leaders to be self-governing, and enjoyed the privilege of trading with the East India Company, making them extremely rich. Their descendants also received priority education in schools built by the East India Company. As a result, local leaders became loyal, and worked as effective minions. In addition, the British also forbade them to engage in war with neighboring territories, helping to create stability and prosperity for the region. In addition, the people of India are allowed freedom of religion and the preservation of traditional customs. Make them happy and easily accept British rule. Just like that, Indian territories were gradually annexed by the British, until the entire Maratha Empire collapsed in 1820. The reason the British conquest was extremely famous, because their army maintained in India at the highest level of only 20,000 people. Meanwhile, the indigenous population is more than 300 million people. So where did they get their troops to fight the rebel movements? The answer is that no movement is big enough to bother. That is the skill of the British. In each conquered territory, they recruited native soldiers and paid them well. According to some studies, about 40% of the money that comes from resource extraction, the British spend on feeding the army. Therefore, they use the natives themselves, to manage the natives, whoever opposes them. However, during the 19th century, a large-scale uprising took place, as the British revealed the true nature of the colonial empire. First, they collect exorbitant taxes. Each farmer must pay more than 50% of the product made from farming. Second, Britain's Industrial Revolution created many modern machines that were able to produce fabric on a large scale. So instead of having to buy finished products from Indians, they just buy raw materials cheaply. Third, Indians are excluded from important government posts. At the same time, distinguishing signs were widely hung, prohibiting dogs and Indians from being in public places. Note, in British documents, Indians are often referred to as Indians. As a result, many territories that had been previously self-governing were consolidated into one British India. Finally, Christian missionaries, often falsely spreading propaganda against the faith and religion of Hindus and Muslims, attempt to entice them to convert. It was for these reasons that, in 1857, hundreds of thousands of Indian soldiers rebelled with their own people. However, the war lasted only a year before it was extinguished. Because they are not well organized. Religious conflict, making them unable to unite. And internally, there were many spies working for the British. As well as weak military technology, and many soldiers still sided with the enemy. Since that defeat, there has not been another large-scale armed war. The Indians were doomed until the 20th century. Video ends here. Thank you all for watching and liking it. If you find the video useful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Goodbye and see you again.